a grieving niece who used Facebook to ensnare her aunt's killer from 6,000 miles away today spoke of her joy as he was handed 2 life sentences. Super-sleuth Lehanne Sergison used a honey trap plot to catch the fugitive suspected of raping and murdering widower Christine Robinson, 59, in 2014. Ndlovu, 32, was today locked up after killing former school teacher Christine at the sprawling safari lodge she ran in South Africa. He was brought to justice after Lehanne, from Bickley, Kent, posed as flirty alter ego Missy Falcao to reel in the killer after swapping hundreds of late-night missives. Speaking after Ndlovu, who changed his name to Andrea Mbayorwo to try and dodge arrest, was jailed for a minimum of 22 years, Lehanne, 51, said, Christine Robinson was a kind, funny and brave woman who evidently fought to her last breath for her life. She was the complete antithesis of Mbayorwo, a violent predator who brutally raped and murdered her simply because he could. A guilty verdict and lengthy sentence is very much welcomed. The judge recognized the heinous nature of the crime and it is reflected in the sentence. Gender-based violence and femicide is far too common throughout the world. Justice is hard to equate when someone is killed in such horrific circumstances. But we will take solace that Mbayorwo will not have the opportunity to hurt, rape or kill again. Christine, a former school teacher from Speak, Merseyside, ran a sprawling 125-acre safari lodge on the edge of the stunning Marachel National Park, 150 miles north of Johannesburg on the Botswana border. A keen traveler, she spent time teaching English in Kuwait, Moscow, and France, before making the Reditao retreat her home with ex-mechanic husband Daniel Robbie Robinson, before his death from cancer in 2012. Her stabbed body was found bundled inside a duvet in August 2014, with fistfuls of the £3,500 wages she had earlier withdrawn to pay staff stolen. In South Africa, local police were quick to pinpoint Mbayorwo, then 26, a gardener who had worked for Christine for 2 years, as a suspect. He vanished from his living quarters at the 30-bed lodge on the night of the killing and was picked up on CCTV heading for the Zimbabwe border. Police interest in the case waned as months passed, and, infuriated by a lack of help from the UK Foreign Office, Lehanne grew incensed that her aunt's killer still walked free. And after a tip-off that he was active on Facebook under the name Andrea Druza, Lehanne took it upon herself to track him down. Posing as a 28-year-old air stewardess called Missy Falcao, inspired by the names of her greyhounds Slolan Missy and Phoenix Falcao, Lehanne hatched a plan. She began to slowly aid his friends before finally plucking up the courage to message him directly. The pair swapped hundreds of midnight oil chats over a 2-month period, leaving Lehanne sick after flirting with her aunt's killer. When Ndlovu gradually revealed himself to be an electrician living alone in the Brixton suburb of Johannesburg, Lehanne set up a date and tipped off detectives in June last year. But the planned sting operation went awry when the suspect failed to show and he again disappeared into the ether. But, after a 7-month social media silence, he suddenly reappeared in February 2020, posting a birthday picture of himself on his Ndlovu profile. On July 30, 2020, she posted his photo on Facebook, against Foreign Office advice, telling followers, "6 years ago today this man raped and murdered my Aunt Christine Robinson." The post was shared 70,000 times and within hours Ndlovu was tracked down to the grounds of his new employer, where he worked installing garage doors. Ndlovu pleaded not guilty at Polokwane High Court in Limpopo Province, South Africa, but Judge Mariette Lou Carstens found him guilty. Judge Lou Carstens said his crimes were heinous, brutal and shocking and gave him 2 life sentences for murder and rape. Lehanne was unable to attend the trial and sentencing because of health problems. She said, "We all wanted to attend, to hear his reasoning, his excuses and to look him in the eye. He didn't even have the decency to plead guilty. His arrogance has been his downfall. He did not count on the kindness of the people of South Africa to be so alarmed by his crime they wanted to help and for police officers to help beyond their duties. I miss Chrissy every day and the joy she brought to everyone she met." For the past 8 years there's not been a day when I hadn't thought about the injustice of her murder and how her killer remained at large. The pain never subsided and only served to make me more determined to find the person responsible. Members of my family thought I was nuts and should let sleeping dogs lie, but there's no way I could do that. Auntie Chrissy was a life force. She was one of those people who makes the world a better place. Her murder has taken 8 years of my life and it will continue. In this heinous crime, we all suffer the grief day after day. Christine was a much-loved sister, aunt, stepmother and a dear friend to many people all over the world. Christine's life was taken by a vile, cowardly predator who subjected her to the most horrific and terrifying death simply because he could.